Where the hell is Rusev? It all started a few months ago when Rusev and Lana just vanished from WWE TV. Oh, no, wait, I've just realized I can't talk about this. It's the wrong show, and I'm supposed to be figuring out who tried to kill Roman Reigns. Right, enough of that nonsense. The point is this: Rusev and Lana are on a break. If you're old, all of a sudden that will give you flashbacks to Friends, but let us not go down that path, because I will have to rip my own eyebrows off. But all of this was thrown back into the public space when somebody did tweet Dave Meltzer, he of Wrestling Observer fame, and ask what is going on, and he did say, well, they're on a break. I mean, that gives you a little idea of what's going on, but it also brings up 1,000 questions, which we are going to answer right now. But it also makes you want to go, why can't WWE see? Why can't WWE understand that in Rusev, in the Bulgarian Brute, they have somebody that should be a future main eventer? He has all the potential in the world. He can talk on the microphone. He can work in the ring. He looks different. He ticks all the boxes, and yet we can't get him on TV. Rusev is not on TV. You're not seeing him on TV. Why? Here's why. The real thing that should have grabbed your attention in that intro is the phrase on a break. Because if you've been watching WWE for any stretch of time, you know that WWE superstars do not want to be away from the television, because if you are, well, you could lose your spot, you're not going to be earning enough money, and again, if you want to get in the game, you've got to be on the bench. The only reason you'd ever make this decision to just walk away is because you're not being used correctly, or you're not being used at all. And this is probably the likely reason why Rusev and Lana decided they were just going to leave it all behind for a little bit. I mean, just think of everything that happened post-Rusev Day when WWE did take that group behind the sheds and shot it in the head like a wounded horse. The former US champion meandered for a little bit on SmackDown, and then he was feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura. That didn't go anywhere, so WWE went, oh, we'll just team him with Shinsuke Nakamura, even though they never explained why they would be a team in the first place. They then had around about 0 tag team matches. Then Rusev decided to go, and then WWE made Shinsuke the Intercontinental Champion, and do with that what you will. Ever since then, there hasn't been one mention of the Rusev name on TV, which means in the storyline, within the kayfabe world of wrestling, he just doesn't exist. He may as well be a ghost. He may as well be dead. The real kicker is that WWE was also happy to let them go. If you remember when CM Punk went on the Colt Cabana podcast, he told all these crazy stories about how Vince McMahon would ring him pretty much as soon as he was out of surgery, saying, CM, when are you going to come back? I need you back. Please come back. Because obviously in Vince McMahon's eyes, he saw CM Punk as a commodity. So if he was able to go, bye Rusev, bye Lana, I don't care about you anymore, it's exactly that. He didn't care. Do whatever you want. I have no plans for you. For whatever reason, nobody involved could see they were letting a huge asset out the door. And that is how I see it. Rusev to me is just a cloud of power. Fuel was added to this fire when the second part of Meltzer's tweet said, not sure what they're going to do next. And Rusev actually responded to that on his own Twitter account by saying, oh, I know what I'm going to do next. Straight up, what does that mean? I mean, it was likely just an ambiguous statement to get idiots like me speculating and trying to figure out where he is gonna go next. But I do think, given the amount he's talked about it on his own Twitter, on Instagram, or just in interviews, he hasn't been very happy with his position in the WWE for some time. In fact, he sometimes comes out and just says a pile of crap. It seems likely it's been a while since the man who came out on a tank at WrestleMania 31 has been pleased, and I stand by his feelings. And for me, this is the reason all of this has happened. He went from undefeated warrior to probably being terrified what WWE was going to do with his very popular trio. When that does happen, you enter into the territory of like so many people, like Sasha Banks, like Ryback, like Wade Barrett, like Tyler Breeze, like Neville, like insert your favorite wrestler here. Rusev probably got sick and tired of smashing his head into a creative wall and getting nothing back, but he eventually went, look, if you ain't gonna do nothing, at least let me go home and lie down. My back hurts, I bump on it a lot. That was greenlit, and now both sides are at an impasse. And there's every chance I'm completely wrong with this and Rusev and Lana are just enjoying a welcomed break, but that doesn't sound like any wrestler I've ever heard of. If you're in the big matches and you're being pushed in the big angles and you're allowed to kind of do whatever you want and you're getting some creative satisfaction out of it, you don't ask to leave, you ask to be put on more dates, because not only is that going to fill up your self-worth tank, but your bank account is going to increase too. We're all different, of course, but it just seems like another situation where what the fans wanted didn't align with what management wanted. It came together, it all exploded, and the person that suffered the most was the talent that was caught in the middle. Let's not pretend those Rusev Day chants weren't getting massive and everybody was getting all pumped up for it. I actually thought this was the moment that one of my favorite wrestlers was going to go to the moon, to the point I thought maybe I'll get Rusev tattooed on my face. And now here I am a few months later and people would be like, who's that? I've never even heard of a guy called Rusev. The last time he was even on a WWE show was back at the Saudi Arabia event in June. I think his last SmackDown event was April. And there was no storyline exit. It was just one moment he was there and the next, boop, he's gone. He's vanished. With these tweets, there was also some tongue-in-cheek responses from Rusev, because when he was asked, hey, are you going to turn up tomorrow with a brand new haircut and make your return? And yes, that was a little dig at Sasha Banks. He said, how long can you hold your breath? Now, again, it's a wrestler tweeting. You got to take it with a pinch of salt. But if you want to take it literally or figuratively as how he was saying it, that means there are no immediate plans for Rusev to return. So given that it is 2019, that ultimately brings up the big question, is he going to All Elite Wrestling? And it all depends on what his contract says, because this is where we bring Luke Harper into the mix. Luke Harper went on Twitter and said, look, I want to leave. I've asked WWE if I can leave, and WWE turned around and said, look, we don't want to use you on TV, although maybe he is the person behind the Roman Reigns murder. We don't know. We'll find out soon enough. But we don't want to use you on TV, but we also don't want you going anywhere else. And because you were injured for a while, we've now slapped an extra 6 months onto your deal, so you can't go anywhere till then. I know that sounds like a crazy ex-jilted lover, because it's like, look, I'm not going to have sex with you anymore, but if you want to have sex with anybody else, well, that's not going to happen either. And I don't know if this ties into Rusev as well. I mean, if he goes home and has a holiday, is that the same as being injured? Doesn't make any sense. And you'd figure so, because even if they don't want to put you on Raw or SmackDown, again, they absolutely don't want you going to the competition. So if they can find a way to wrangle it they will. But there is another rumor that both their contracts are about to expire, and as they weren't going to sign a new one, they got benched. It's basically like gardening leave. You're not going to help us, so we're going to throw you over there so you can't get in the way of any of the plans that we do care about. The issue there is that doesn't sound like WWE at all. Usually, if you're on your way out, WWE sees you as a piece of cake, and then they take everybody else on the roster and treats them like they're starving. What I mean by that is you will lose and 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 you will lose. And things can change, I guess. So maybe he is going to return, or maybe he isn't, and everybody involved has just decided that is it for the Rusev and Lana experiment. What I do know 100%, and there's no arguing here, is that the whole thing breaks my heart. It is why you're not seeing Rusev on WWE TV, though he wasn't happy and WWE weren't prepared to offer him a piece of happiness. And again, that is just absolute madness to me, to have someone like Rusev on your roster, who, by the way, was able to save a terrible angle with Summer Rae, Lana, and Dolph Ziggler when he was getting wet fish and chucking them everywhere, and he made it hilarious. That was Rusev. He did that. He's an entertaining cat, and he looks like he could whip your ass, but for some reason, we can't put him in a feud or in a program that appeases everyone, even though we were doing that. When was WrestleMania 31? Like 4 or 5 years ago. So we were doing everything right. We were ticking all the boxes, and then something changed. Somebody please tell me what changed, because I'm never going to be able to figure it out. I will always fly the flag for you, Rusev, and if you do go to AEW or anywhere else, I will follow you there like a weird person. I'm still going to keep my fingers crossed that from nowhere you do return to SmackDown or Raw. There's a place for you. But I'm losing hope. And I understand though. I understand if you're not happy, you've got to stand by what you believe in. And I'll be standing there next to you, and you'll turn and you'll be like, who the hell are you? And I'll be like, you know me, Rusev. I'm your biggest fan. So when you call the police, you have me arrested, it's the right thing to do, but I will still be your biggest fan. Because that's what weird fans do. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Rusev. Is he coming back? Is he going to AEW? Is he done with wrestling altogether? I don't think that's an option. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE. and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to know how long I have been on this Rusev bandwagon, you can go watching ups and downs from literally like maybe even 3 years ago when I just wore a Save Rusev sign on my t-shirt. That is a real thing that is out there in the world of the internet right now. Even then I could see, something's not right, we ain't doing right by Ruru, and I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough, mostly because I don't work backstage in WWE. And even if I did, everyone would be like, oh, it's the bald asshole. Whoever he suggests, say no, because we just can't stand him. So maybe it was actually my fault, Rusev, but you know, I couldn't foresee that coming. I was just trying to promote you as much as possible, and I still will. Doesn't matter now, you're not even in WWE. You're sitting at home, go kick all the ass.